Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to LEGO DC Supervillains. It's been, unfortunately, once again, a long time since I last played, so I'm gonna have to take a moment to just remember where we were. I think we were going through the levels as quickly as possible to try and find red bricks. Yeah, to get the score multiplier. Which I guess means we did this one and not this one, so let's hop into that. Yes, I'm basically starting every episode saying that it's been a rather long time. Interesting that I have only 4 characters there. You would think that they would start with at least a minimum of 6 characters.
That was another witness calling in about the atom colliding with military.
Not all of it is the fault of this game. There's definitely some problems with this game and its story, and it just not being particularly exciting to stick with and continue to play. But I would say it really is approaching 60-70% of the reason why I'm not getting things done as fast as I should. Or consistently playing the game is more of
to make a new world, a better world.
More of an issue around just being distracted by other non-YouTube stuff. Okay. So I activated something and it summoned in another ship. So, effectively, there was an entire section of this level that you couldn't have seen in the story mode.
I'll decide whether or not to keep this for myself later.
And that was it. So, save and exit. So let's just try and skip through all of this. I was also delayed in getting back to this game in that I was moving a whole bunch of files. Combat confetti, once again a red brick that's not necessary at the moment. And because I was moving a ton of files, my computer was busy, and in a cleanup of that, I was just told it to start deleting some files. Then I said, wait, no, let's start playing the game. So then I clicked the pause button on Windows 10 to pause the deleting action, and I am not 100% sure it actually has successfully paused that action. Effectively, I'm not sure that the pause button ever works in that case. Moving on to the next level, I guess. So, the point of saying all of that, though, is to say if we do happen to run into any kind of glitchy crash or micro stuttering in this case, or any other kinds of CPU intensive type bug, I would have to blame my own actions and not blame the game, even though we have seen this game crash a couple of times already. We aren't seeing a consistent micro stuttering issue like I used to see with old LEGO games, though, and when the micro stuttering that is corrected by disabling the Windows 10 like full screen optimizations, when that is enabled and that problem was happening, it was getting worse and worse the more and more you played. Like, in some way it was potentially creating pre-compiled shaders or something that were corrupted in some way, and or its optimizations of whatever sort it was doing were actually worse and getting increasingly worse. Okay. So I guess the problem here is we could really use something that would explain where the red brick is. And generally, I think the idea of needing a brick detector for red bricks and just not seeing it at the very beginning is a mistake. Like, mini kit detectors make sense because there's multiple mini kits in a level, but does this guy have super strength? But red bricks really should be behind glass and in a fairly obvious place. Because you don't have this linear experience that you normally would have in a Lego game.
Good news! Joker's back to brighten up all your miserable lives.
Like, because you don't have that linearness of going from the left to the right, then you have this dangerous fear that the red brick could be like anywhere, and in this case the red brick is probably in the whole other section. I guess it's just going to come down to, can we get through this whole section without doing everything? I think we may have to just do everything.
Now maybe I'll start getting some respect around here.
Okay. Yeah, because we need to get up there, or we need to do the Joker toxin to get up in that higher area. This is probably the best example I've ever seen of somebody making a Lego section and not even knowing where the 3D level model is going to be. It's insane to have this little coffee pastry shop and gift shop here where some of the best design is not even really visible. You have a whole shelf here that you can't see at all. It wouldn't be hard to cut out this whole column.
Oh gee, I got so much I want to do today. I don't know where to start.
So many new riddles to try out today. Where to begin?
Yeah, we need to get the Joker toxin up there. We can't do anything else. So we need to open up the cauldron, and which, yeah, I guess that's the best way to describe it, as it's just a cauldron. Then we need to play as Joker to find each of the 3 components. So the question, I guess, will come down to, where's the 3rd component? I think it's probably here. So when I switched out from being the Joker, all of the items respawned back to the original positions, which that could be irritating for a kid's game, certainly. If you all of a sudden just lose the items you'd already collected. It would have made a lot more sense to just let the items be collected by anybody in the game, or at least float around people, or even stay in the inventory of the Joker even when you're not playing as the Joker. I suppose there is this very Batman 66 element to this, where you're really not going to let the Joker in a kid's game be that evil, so he's not going to pull out a gun or a crowbar and hurt people, so then you are back to fear toxin or Joker gas and things like that. Fell down in that whole process. Once again, you have to use the right bump and only the right bump to switch between characters. Interesting how it started with a large fall there. These mini games basically mean nothing, so it would have made a lot of sense to get the gold brick, get a red brick to automatically do all mini games fairly quickly. It would also make a lot of sense to get a red brick to automatically do like all the collections to make Joker gases. That could save a lot of time in interacting with these things. Okay. Nice water effects there. But I still really have to complain about the fact that what I'm doing right now could get me a mini kit or could get me a red brick, and I just don't know what the end outcome is. Interesting how a sound effect just kind of stopped there. Come on. And it's so dark, I don't even know what I just did. Like, apparently I'm making stairs.
I was hoping for a cuddly polar bear doll, but this one.
See, I'm not even sure what I'm supposed to be hitting. It looks to me like I'm supposed to be freezing something, but the controls are not really snapping to anything. Really shouldn't be able to freeze and unfreeze things, but that seems like that is exactly the case. Let's come over here and just use our eyesight. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense at all that you could freeze and unfreeze things. It really should just be a one-way action. And making this whole secondary statue doesn't seem like it did much. So is there some other trick that's supposed to happen with this, possibly? Maybe. Let's go into this next room, and I don't think we get locked into this room. And see if the red brick is possibly over here. Notice is a fairly large area.
Miserable creatures do not understand the power of fear.
It's a fairly large puzzle that's really built around did that drop something?
Seems like I'll need to trick one of those other fools into using this for me. Oh, boy, I sure hope I didn't say that out loud.
Yeah, just another mini kit. Okay. It could be a fairly complicated puzzle here, and we'll just have to figure out all the tricks to it. Mirror Master, he may be the one, so. Who would have mirror breaking abilities? He does. There we go. But then, who would have mirror fixing abilities? Let's start with the simple question. Do we need to do something there? Just hitting X and B with every character. It'd be very weird for any of these characters to have that ability. So I'm assuming what I need to do is just turn the Mirror Master, and even the game is telling me that.
There's work to be done. Another one of these things. I'll handle it. No bother. Oops.
Okay, so we need to now find a way of getting the other mirror to show up there. And that really is just like bad Lego design. You can't get around that. There's no excuse for them not starting you with Mirror Master if there was a Mirror Master puzzle that literally could only be opened by Mirror Master and his ability. Once you take that logic to the next step, it then also highlights the fact that there really should be a singular Mirror Master puzzle in almost every level, if not every level, really every level. Then you could have Mirror Master as a default character. That also then opens the door to potentially trying to have other characters with Mirror Master's ability. I think it would be fairly logical to say anybody with magical ability John Constantine, Black Adam, things like that. Anybody that has anything that's slightly magical should probably have Mirror Master's ability. And then you could pick that character. We finally have studs ×2. So now it's just a matter of purchasing it. Studs ×2 is the smallest stud multiplier. So we should be able to afford it by now. If we can't, then I guess there's some argument to trying to run around and get studs in the overworld, but I don't know if that's that useful either as an idea. Once we get studs ×2, it makes all the sense in the world to turn it on and start using it to try to find studs ×4 and the like. That being said, to actually purchase the red bricks, do we have to do it that way, or is that just a gold brick? This character is hovering, and that seems like his hovering going up and down stairs.
You don't want me spilling my white paint on your white lap? No, you stay.
Alright, let's start with this character and just see if we can break some things. Who is this character? Shazam, Freddy, and Volko. Well, I have no idea who Volko is, but it almost certainly makes a lot of sense to just switch. Oh, you can't play as a custom character. Interesting. Well then, let's go with Cyborg as a character. Where is he?
All systems are looking good. Let's do this.
Here we go. Okay. Studs ×2 is 1,000,000. Buy that. Attract studs is only 300,000. I think we can afford to buy that. Studs ×8 is 50 million. So we're going to see a studs ×2, studs ×4, studs ×6, and a studs ×10. Collecting guide studs not useful at the moment. Gold brick detector not useful at the moment. Mini kit detector is not super useful at the moment. I don't think any of these others are super useful, but this one and this one are worth it. And so we've now purchased those, and now they just stay in that collection, and then you have to come over here and turn them on, which the game definitely does not make a good explanation of that. Where is attract studs? Is this alphabetical? Yes. So you got a little X ×2 in the top left that you barely even notice, and now anywhere I walk, anywhere close, there's this big sphere of influence in which I'll just magnet up studs. We can't get to the levels inside of here, so we have to exit out of Star Labs. And then we are back on our journey now defines studs times 4. If it was 1,000,000 for studs times 2, it's probably 2,000,000 for studs times 4. So, are in a decent position to potentially find that multiplier, and then be able to purchase it. So a studs times 4 plus a studs times 2 would be an 8 multiplier.
Thank you, sir.
If we can get to studs times 6, that's, I think, somewhere around like 24 multiplier. Yep. There's a little bit of stutter there as we were skipping, but I really don't think I can complain too much about that. That may just be a slight glitch because of the skipping. Obviously it shouldn't happen, but normal you wouldn't skip. So what we're looking for is I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here. I guess I'm cutting the rope. Yeah. So I guess I have to assume that
All right, losers. Let's get this done right.
yeah, I guess we probably just have to get this fight through. To get to the next area. And any character with a gun seems to be at a pretty good advantage.
Poison ivy. My powers are always growing.
Our assistant character over here is playing as Batman, and he's stuck in a corner.
I can't let any nasty polluters get their hands on something as valuable as this.
There really is just not anything else in this area, so you have to assume that I've done everything I can do. Until they give me some random thing I can build. Then it shows you this whole other area, so it kind of would make sense that the whole other area would be accessible. And that I should be able to just jump forward in the foreground and find something, but it isn't. That isn't the case. With a score times 2 multiplier, I am already halfway towards true supervillain. I feel like this is glitched, and that's not supposed to be there. Can't actually kill this squid. Interesting, the squid attacked him, and it didn't affect him, or ink him, or slow him down. Or it didn't seem like it did. What's weird about this is I don't remember this fight being even this interesting when we first fought it. It almost feels like the squid element of it jumping around wasn't an element. And that maybe they only do that in free play, or maybe it just broke as a gameplay concept. The first time we played it. Yeah, I only remember there really being a bunch of sharks and it just repeating the shark attacks over and over again. So we're up to True Villain now. Bring the mine. Each of these gameplay gimmicks and mechanics really should be in their own little section. Like, ideally, you would want to see the same fight be on kind of a rotating platform where you defeat him one way and then he destroys the ground, and then you have to move to the right, rotate to the right, or clockwise or whatever. And then you would be on a different platform with other Lego bricks, and then it would be just a new area to start over and do the next part of the fight with. And then you would have one, maybe two gimmicks that you would need to do on that one platform, and after that point, you would move to another platform and have one or two other gimmicks at that point. But having so much of the fight take place on that one platform is weird. Speaking of weird, I guess you were supposed to turn that off and then, like, I can't really swim any higher. One of the characters we're playing as is the Atom, but the in water mode here, he doesn't really want to shrink until you get to the ground. Am I inside the tube? You have a whole electrified thing here. Everything seems to be electrified. And it just doesn't feel like there's anything else in this little room. Kind of don't have a immune to electricity character. heat wave. Yeah, so you can't really get anywhere close to that. And you can't... Seemingly... It doesn't seem like you can get through this tube. Like, I was in the tube. That's fine. But then to go to the left seems like that is just blocked off. And there's a circle, which somebody obviously has to have like an ability for. Problem here is I have no idea who this would be. No, the circle is actually that guy. They put little circles on the ground for wherever they're hovering. Alright, well, let's start with Livewire. I think we could assume that she's a pretty important character.
It's the return of the beautiful, the brilliant, the fantastic Livewire.
So Livewire can get really close to that just to pick that up.
I bet I'll get a lot of ratings if I do a show with this on it.
And then let's go with maybe Flash.
Make way for the Scarlet Speedster.
I'm thinking maybe we're supposed to break the glass here. Let's try Green Lantern. Where would you be? I mean Green Arrow. Not Green Lantern. Killer Frost as a character.
Think out, take a look around. Interesting. Reminds me of one of my earliest inventions, but shinier.
That's interesting that it took me playing as the Atom specifically to get through that, even though we have other characters with strength. We're gonna end up collecting, it seems like, quite a bit of other collectibles in this level, which this is somewhat of a waste of time, which that's important to point out because we don't have enough of a score multiplier.
I can't use this. And not just because I have concerns over its long-term environmental impact.
So there's like a character token thing here. This Green Lantern is the thing that's going to get rid of the jellyfish. That's a little strange. I wasn't expecting to find in any of these levels characters. But I guess I should have been expecting that, come to think of it, because we have been seeing that there were characters still to be found in these levels. Is this somehow going to be the first level that we complete with 100% in free play and collect everything? We're making our way towards that possibility. We're still not finding the red brick though, so hopefully we didn't miss something in that intermediate section. Let's see. Let's see. What is in here? White, red, white, red. Red. White. Red. White. Red. The note is actually yellow, but the flower is white. At least to my white. Red. Oh man, it's so easy to mess up here. They're too close to each other, and I'm not activating them by just like walking on them. Alright. So I guess your best bet is probably to do this and then this. And then that and that. So now it's decision time. There's one more mini kit, which is obviously going to be collected from hitting one more shell, and there's a spray paint level here. It seems to me like it would be worth it to go ahead and collect all of those. Switch to a character that can use this ability. More people can use this hammer ability than I thought they could. This guy can spray paint. Heatwave can. Which he wouldn't have been my first guess. And it plays this achievement sound effect that frankly they should use for some other reason whenever you take a screenshot there, but I don't know if you're really achieving anything special when you take the screenshot or if you really need to take the screenshot. So yeah, I guess just for entertainment's sake, we'll try and finish the fight here, but we could really just save and exit. There's not really a reason to beat up on this guy, but we'll go ahead and do it anyways. But we definitely will skip the cutscenes. Is this a beginning of changing how things play out? Probably not. We'll still almost certainly have some other levels that we don't get everything unlocked in. But this will potentially highlight some things in that you get a daily planet picture when you get all the mini kits, plus you also get a lot of blue studs. Now, are those blue studs then getting multiplied by 2? Maybe, maybe not. I don't really know. Well, each blue stud is like 1,000, so if we have like 20 extra 1,000 studs, that would probably mean no. If we have 40,000 extra studs, maybe yes. It'd be kind of hard to even tell. Yeah, I would have had to paid a lot more attention. But since we don't know, it probably is prudent to not get all the mini kits in any of the future levels until we can get all the score multipliers. And we are burning through these levels fairly quickly. You can see that there is a 100% marker here, so that is what we will be looking for in all levels eventually.
Where are all the famous tourist attractions I wanted to see? Oh right, they're in New...
Was she gonna say New York?
Time to confirm if these rumors are true. Here he comes. Thanks for agreeing to speak with us, sir. So, is it true?
One cutscene, then another cutscene that can just be immediately skipped. Can't skip that cutscene, however. Ideally, we want to get all the score multipliers so we can just run around the open world and see some new content that's going to be almost 100% new. And anywhere we see this magical ability stuff, what am I supposed to be doing with this? Oh, so this is the water bottle, and I'm supposed to be putting it on there.
I won't rest until the world sees things for the way they really are. Make way for the King of Atlantis!
So, yeah.
I'm Batman.
Not every character has an intro when you choose them, but enough of them certainly do. And this is one of those annoying levels where I don't think we have a single character that has a digging ability, so let's just choose Cheetah. And once again, they know that's the character you need, they just didn't give it to you.
A fascinating specimen, almost worthy of my precious time and attention.
At a certain level, it's almost justifiable that the game would force the player to hold down the Y and select the characters.
Perhaps this is another clue.
This isn't exactly
Through the
my
main
wheelhouse.
menu,
Someone else
like
needs to
doing
try.
this. If LEGO games had always been like that, and free play mode had always been like that, and you always had to select characters, then I really wouldn't have as much of a complaint. Problem is, there's just a long established history in other LEGO games of the free play characters that you start with being a combination of the characters that you only need, and then that creates a good little puzzle in the free play mode where you have to swap between characters to figure out who is necessary and who will solve what puzzles. I guess because I can fly with some characters. Although, yeah. Because you can fly with some characters. Okay. Who is this character, by the way? Who can go invisible?
I should be able to deal with this.
Deathstroke
Well,
can.
it would appear I have another mission to complete.
So how am I supposed to... solve this? Just by hanging from the chain?
Curious. Perhaps this has hidden magical properties.
Do we have a character that we can brain control? No, I need to switch to the Riddler. And see, that very possibly just like finished the level prematurely. That being said, I don't think anything really stops me from doing the rest of this. I may still need to do more of this. We break all of that, make a platform, we didn't do this.
You miserable creatures do not understand the power.
So then that turns off the shield, and then you have extra studs that just spawned. And then I guess we are doing that. I assume that's the only real thing. So I need to probably be a little bit more cautious just to look up here and make sure I've gotten everything done. Because what would be really annoying is if it turned out that there was some other secret area I missed or item to interact with. It does just kind of feel like the next area and section here is still going to be considered part of the first chapter of this level, even though it very easily could have been its own separate chapter. It was also weird how there's a lot of Lego looking computer terminals and non-Lego looking computer terminals all over the place in this area, and feels like they should all just be Lego areas. Yeah, I didn't actually need those characters to get up to that point. I needed them to get up to the second part of the level in story mode. In free play mode, I just flew up there. Let's see. Let's see what this does.
Hello and
This
welcome to
character.
LexCorp. Please take a seat until Mr. Luthor returns.
Ah. So, almost certainly this is it. I have no idea what the code's supposed to be. Yeah, I would have to really think about this.
Perhaps this is another clue.
If there was supposed to be some number that Lex Luthor really loved. 463. Okay. That would have been way, way too hard for you to have some kind of deep comic book knowledge around that. I have never seen a combination lock like this in a Lego game. It's far too complicated and not really acceptable. Alright. And yeah, once again, it's probably just better to finish the level instead of coming back and trying to do the second half. So let's just do as much of this as possible. We're not getting any dialogue and conversation that happened when we did these levels before, which would have added a lot more explanation as to what we're doing and why we're doing it, which definitely would have been helpful, because it's not likely that every single player, or even a significant number of players, would play a level in free play right after they played it in story mode. It definitely feels like there's a danger here that I'm going to miss some content. Some collectible or something. There's so much other Lego stuff here. And you can see that there's like breakable Lego components far in the background here that you can't even see. This really is just like terrible, terrible level design for a Lego game. I can only assume that the developers of this game, this was like their first Lego game and they were given very poor instructions and mentorship and guidance as far as just what to do. Although in all fairness, all they really needed to do is have played some of the previous Lego games themselves. Although it is pretty unfair to ask employees and programmers to spend extra time, probably unpaid labor, to play Lego games, to do research. Well, actually, it shouldn't be unpaid. It should be paid research. But yeah, I don't think programmers play as much video games as you would think, and they definitely wouldn't just be playing Lego games. What in the world am I supposed to be doing with this? Like, this is cool and all. Guess I'm supposed to be breaking this wall. That really didn't want to work.
Grid online.
Suppose you can't guarantee that they didn't actually play previous Lego games and simply just ignore the guidance. And it's very possible that somebody higher up said, make a different kind of Lego game, and so they made a different kind of Lego game that is just way worse. And this goes. Breaking that. I don't know what that really accomplished.
This world is ours. My technology is superior to all.
Captain Boomerang always comes back for more.
So I probably just have to fight, because all we have is
The man who never misses isn't about to start today.
all we have is these little chairs and things on the side.
It is pointless to challenge us.
This definitely would leave me more with the feeling that I missed something in the previous part.
Have a nice day. System damaged. Recharge necessary.
So, am I supposed to be playing this?
This world is ours.
See, you really can't get into that whole section. Brian King or Brain King? I think he's supposed to be Brian King.
My technology is superior to all.
I can definitely see how this
Nice day.
very possibly would have been a cool sequence. The camera angle is a big problem there, but playing as bad guys fighting the Justice Syndicate definitely makes some sense.
I should be able to deal with this. Didn't expect to run into something like this. I can't use it.
Can Boomerang use it? Seems like he can. So I assume this is probably the new content. We have like 162,000 studs that we've collected in this level so far, but it is getting kind of long. Now you would have to fight Deathstorm. Particularly playing as Harley Quinn, swinging that big hammer, does feel like an interesting idea. And I can even see why they would want the camera to be more zoomed in to show off that cool idea. But it just does not really
Did I get him?
think things through as far as how that visual and that effect would look and feel compared to the rest of the Lego game. I guess you kind of have the opposite situation here in that this is a very zoomed out, shrunken down visual that doesn't quite feel right or feel like the rest of the Lego game. Camera angles. Okay. So we've got a Superman.
No force on your puny world can stop me.
I'm gonna have to use my camera right stick to get this correct. I guess it's her. And see, that is a great example of the camera being totally messed up.
You are about to be all washed up.
Really doesn't make any sense. This is like the
You're
big
no match for me.
boss fight section. This should be a lot more polished. Is it really worth my time to try and break everything? Probably not. We have everything, so again, I could exit out now and just save and exit to save some time, but just for YouTube's sake, I think it makes a lot of sense to
Did I get him?
beat on this guy and defeat him. He's obviously got a different attack pattern than what Grid had. But really, he should be his own separate
You really
thing.
want to test me? I almost pity you.
Inherently, the Justice Society was promised to be the bad guys of this game, and that you would have close to one boss fight for each level. And you don't get one Justice Society boss fight each level. And then you get two Justice Society boss fights happening here instead of one, which makes neither one of the boss fights stand out. I've completely forgotten about this fight the first time we did this in story mode. Deathstorm as a character could use a lot more backstory.
Right. Now,
Right.
I want to have a word with Lex.
And Grid could use some backstory too. Now, can we see how many studs we have to start with? 2, 3, 2, 4, 8, 2. And then we're going to get all of these. And that goes from 2482 to 2532. So that seems like that was 50,000 studs or thereabout. Which maybe that means you get 25 studs or 25,000 studs when you don't have the score times 2 multiplier enabled. Or maybe you always get just 50,000 studs. It would make a lot of sense that you always just get 50,000 studs. Well, the good news is we got the score times 2 multiplier. The bad news is we did not get a score times 4 multiplier so far. And we are now seemingly just collecting everything in this story mode, in the free play modes. So there's this level, this level, this level, this level, and this level. And these are all like where you get on apocalypse levels. And actually we're going to skip this level since we already have the red brick for that one. So there are 4 levels of the main story to get red bricks. And then the shorter stories, one of which we'll skip because we have a red brick there. So not really a great chance, but there's a small chance that we would go through all the free play levels and get all the score multipliers by the end of the next recording. Then we can just run around the free play area and start to like focus around these challenges, although the challenges themselves might best be done as like the last thing in the free play area, because almost certainly we're going to just run around and do goofy things, and in doing the goofy things we'll have accomplished a lot of these Riddler challenges. I guess is what they really are. They definitely feel like challenges that you would have seen in Arkham Asylum series of games, not in Lego Batman series of games. This is a lot of reading, frankly, hidden in the menu for a kids game, particularly a Lego kids game, where it is much more ADHD than that, and reading and finding a solution to a puzzle is not likely to be on the high priority list. As far as open world collectibles, we still really haven't made that much progress because we haven't done anything in open world, and we can certainly see that on the map too, that there's just a ton of stuff to investigate. The shame is definitely going to be that we're going to get to like Arkham Asylum and barely spend any time at Arkham Asylum or Wayne Manor. It'll just be quick run here, fly to this point, fly to this point, and collect the gold bricks. They probably won't be as challenging as they should be. We have made a massive improvement though as far as just collectibles now. We were approaching 27%. I feel like we were somewhere around there when we started this episode, and now we're at 37%. That is in part because we got a lot of gold bricks for doing things, and in part just because we've gotten a lot of mini kits in the last hour, and red bricks and graffitis. And almost certainly we'll get all the true supervillains without even trying. As far as unlocking new characters, though, we'll probably unlock 4 or 5 more characters through the free play levels, but the rest of them will have to be unlocked through open world challenges, and we won't purchase the characters until the very end of the game. Although it wouldn't be terrible to purchase the characters after we've done all the free play levels. It would just confuse things a little bit, but not enough for it to really matter. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. There's a bunch of support and social media links down below in the description if you want to support me further than that. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.